In a lively garden, full of flowers and butterflies, there lived a playful orange cat named Whiskers and a clever little mouse named Squeaky. They loved to spend their days chasing each other through the tall grasses and over the wooden bridges that crossed the sparkling streams. One day, the garden was getting ready for the annual cheese festival. All the animals were looking forward to it, especially Squeaky. He couldn't imagine anything better than a day filled with cheese tasting and cheese games. But Whiskers had other plans. He wanted to play a trick on Squeaky and scare him during the festival. As the day of the festival approached, Whiskers became more and more excited. He would sneak up on Squeaky when he wasn't paying attention and give him a little scare. Squeaky would always squeak and dart away as fast as he could, but it wasn't very fun for Whiskers because Squeaky was always too quick for him. On the day of the festival, Whiskers decided he would catch Squeaky once and for all. He waited till Squeaky wasn't paying attention and then pounced on him. "Gotcha!" he purred with amusement. Squeaky struggled to free himself from Whiskers' grasp, but the cat was just too strong. He carried Squeaky all the way to the cheese pyramid, the biggest pile of cheese in the garden, and let him go. Then he watched, with a malicious grin, as Squeaky tried to climb down the slippery cheese mountain. But Squeaky lost his balance and slid all the way to the bottom of the pyramid. He landed with a thump right at the paws of a very surprised Badger. Badger was very upset. Not only had Whiskers ruined the most important day of the year for him, but he had also injured Squeaky before Whiskers could say a word. Badger grabbed him by the scruff of his neck and carried him off to see the wisest animal in the garden, an old and very smart owl. "You have caused a lot of trouble in this garden, Whiskers," said the owl, shaking his head. "If you want to stay here, you must learn to be a good friend to Squeaky." Whiskers didn't want to be friends with a mouse. "But wise and honorable, sir," he said. "We've been trying to catch each other for so long that we co-Ian. Just become friends like that." "Perhaps you're right," said the owl. "But how about this? Spend a whole day together without fighting. If you manage that, I will help you both become friends." Whiskers and Squeaky looked at each other. It did sound like a good idea, but could they really do it? They had been trying to chase and catch each other for so long that it seemed impossible to do anything else. But they didn't want to leave the garden, so they agreed to try. For the first few hours, everything went well. Whiskers didn't try to chase Squeaky, and Squeaky didn't try to tease Whiskers. They even made cheese pancakes together for breakfast. After that, they played some games and had a great time. But then, while they were playing hide-and-seek, Whiskers suddenly remembered how much fun it was to chase Squeaky. So he pounced on him and gave him a big scare. Squeaky squeaked and ran away as fast as he could. He ran and hid in a hole under the roots of a large oak tree. Whiskers felt terrible when he realized what he had done. He had ruined their day and he had hurt Squeaky, so he went to the oak tree and meowed softly. Then he said, "I'm sorry, Squeaky. I'll never chase you again if you forgive me. And we can share all the cheese pancakes." Squeaky poked his little nose out of the hole. He was still a bit scared of Whiskers, but he knew the cat was truly sorry. So he nodded and said, "Friends." Whiskers purred and nodded. The two friends worked together to build a giant castle out of cheese scraps. They rolled and pushed huge wheels of cheese until they reached the top of the pyramid. There, under a sky full of glowing fireflies, the owl came to see them. He dipped his feathers in some melted cheese and wrote down their names in the air. Then he said, "From now on, you two are friends and you will never fight again. Do you agree?" Whiskers and Squeaky looked at each other. They had been through so much together, and they knew they would always be friends. They dipped their paws in the cheese ink and signed the peace treaty. And so, from that day on, Whiskers and Squeaky were the best of friends. They shared their food, played games together, and chased butterflies side by side. They showed everyone in the garden that being friends is better than fighting, and that even the tiniest mouse and the fluiest cat can get along if they just try.